acting like a thief, and you stole the crown. Your lies keep piling up, and we watch them weigh you down. The fair agree that you stole, they run the whole fucking show. But we are not afraid, and we will not let go. The bigots rise, and you fan the flames. You build an empire of fear and pain. You're hand in hand with the billionaire scum, selling out this country while you play dumb. Burn it all down! Tear the walls apart! We will not bow! We will not lose heart! We will put an end to the hate! We will put an end to your lies! We will stand side by side! And we will rise! You think these cages are built for the poor and for the weak, for the families torn apart while you laugh and tweet? Look at the puppets dance to the corporate sound, but we are still here and we will stand our ground! There's blood on your hands! We have seen the truth erased! You put the profits first! Instead of the people you've displaced! History is watching, and it won't soon forget. It may not be you this time, but you can soon be next! Burn it all down! Tear the walls apart! We will not bow! We will not lose heart! We will put an end to the hate! We will put an end to your lies! We will stand side by side, and we will rise! War! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Burn it all down! Tear it all apart! Lies on the screen from the deadline machine! Burn it all down! They killed the American dream! Don't blame an escalator! A tower built on decay! Smiling like a tyrant while the world fades away! Fear and hate is the name of your game! Divide the people and shift all the blame! The truth is dead! You sold them for fame! History won't forget your name! Fake empire! Built on greed! Fascist clown! Watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! Broke into cases! You've got blood on your hands! Worship the dollar while you ignore our demands! We storm the gates! Our rage is fueled by your lies! We will sit back and watch as your empire crumbles and dies! Fear and hate is the name of your game! Divide the people and shift all the blame! The truth is dead, you sold them for fame! History won't forget! Nay, nay! Fake empire! Built on greed! Fascist clown! Watch it bleed! Break the chains! Fight the fire! Dethrone the king! Take it higher! You build walls! We break them down! You spread lies! We burn this town! You breathe fear! We Fight back! Hardcore, counterattack! Fake empire going down! No more kings! Burn the crown! Justice call! Hear the sound! Rise up now and stand your ground! All out! Promises right! Promises right! On a gilded stage, dividing the people, fueling the rage. Walls built high, but compassion's low. Truth buried deep beneath the show. No more lies! No more deceit! We will bow down! We will retreat! Voices loud! We stand as one! The fight's not over! It's just begun! It's just begun! Families torn at the borderline! Justice denied! Time after time! Prophet's soul on the planet burns! When will we learn? When will we learn? No more lies! No more deceit! We will bow down! We will retreat! Voices loud! We stand as one! The fight's not over! It's just begun! It's just begun! It's just begun! Resist the power and break the chain! Rise above all this hate and this pain! Together we're strong, we won't divide! In our unity we will find our pride! The fight's not over! It's just begun! 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 The fight's not over! Whispers turn to battle cries. The truth is dead, been fed to lies. They sell us lies in the name of peace. What justice rots beneath the leash. They write the laws just to serve the few. We bleed beneath the red, white, and blue. But freedom's fire still burns inside, where truth and treason often collide. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. No peace. peace without the will to fight. No dawn without the rebel night. The ballot's a joke and the court's offline. And American justice lags a decade behind. So strike the drum and light the flame. Each beating soul will rise again. The people's wrath is a sacred flood. The soil drains deep the martyr's blood. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't dismiss. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must feed on the patriots who dare to bleed. The tyrants tremble when freedom rings. We are the roots and we will bring the thunder rolling through the land. With fire in our hearts and blood on our hands. Not for glory, not for gold, but for the stories that were never told. For every voice that they tried to drown, we will plant the flag and hold our ground. So raise your voice and raise your fist. We are the storm that they can't resist. No more kings and no more crowns. We are the ones who will burn it down. The tree of liberty must grow with the blood that only the brave know. And if we should fall, then we fall as one beneath the rising blood-red sun. The tyrants will fall and the people will rise, because freedom never truly dies. They build their towers in the sky, hoarding wealth while the workers die. Billionaires with blood-stained hands, trampling lives to expand their brand. They say they earned it, they say it's fair, but they only take while we despair. Their pockets are fat and their hearts are cold. Working ourselves to death makes them more bold. But now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. The system is rigged, it's all just a game. The rich pull the strings, the poor take the blame. Wealth hoarders live in mansions, the people live in chains. The billionaires don't care, they cash in on our pay. Luxury is a cage that's been built on the backs of the common workers that they keep under attack. But we the people, we've had it rough. Their empire is fragile, we've had enough. And now the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see our lives, and we know the deal. You hoard the wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you only God's whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. No more silence, no more living in fear, no more being divided, no more broken man's tears. Don't try to keep us down. You are not our king. In every city and every town, let motherfucking freedom ring. Because the time has come for the people to rise up. We will never bow, we will never kneel. We see your lie and we know the deal. You hoard your wealth, you crush the poor. We're coming for you, you capitalist whore. This land is your land, this land is my land. We will fight side by side and hand in hand. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. It's better to die standing on your feet than living a lie down on your knees. We signed up to fight for freedom, not to be the boots on the necks of Americans. You used us, you lied to us, and now we're coming to square the account. Get fucked and die mad about it! Admin Tip 360, bitch! We wear the scars, we bear the pain. We watched our friends die in blood and flame. You said that we fought for liberty, but we came home to fight hypocrisy. You turned a rifle around our peace. You crushed dissent, you unleashed police. You sent us in just to guard your throne. You turned the streets into a combat zone. No one wants to know. Not in this fight, we are not alive. Whether it's day or night, no one wants to know. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. You armored up and sent the troops to beat down kids and protest groups, to guard the banks, protect the suits, so that they can't keep us under their boots. You wave the flag like it's a threat, but we remember every single bet that you left to rot, alone and discarded. All CEOs got golden parachute parties. One walks alone, not in this fight. We are the line. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. To every citizen still asleep, wake the fuck up! To my fellow veterans, remember your oath! Our freedom is dying right beneath our eyes! The people in charge tell us nothing but lies. The common people starve while billionaires see, and we're the ones tossed out in the street. Let's eat the rich, let's make them pay their share. Paying their taxes is a burden they can bear. Make billionaires right again! Not in this fight, we are the line. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. No one walks alone. Not in this fight, we are the line. Whether it's day or night, no one walks alone. This ain't no game. There is only one true, we are the same. No one walks alone. I got something for you. Hang on to your asses. Golden towers, velvet ropes, behind the mask, a vulture chokes, power suits and dirty hands, wag the dog in desert sands, victims screaming into voids while kings play gods with broken toys, airbrush lies on every screen. What the hell does justice mean? Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free, blood on the floor, hurt you in chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? You built your throne on broken laws. Now you're scared, you know what you saw. Silence bought with piles of cash. Erase the files, burn the trash. Martial law for damage control. Draft the bar to hide your soul. Wanna light the world on fire just to dodge the electric wire. History is a loaded gun. Tick, 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 you better run. Lock room, VIP, predator in a crowd walking free. Blood on the floor, hurt you in chains. How many more gonna scream in vain? Your kingdom shakes with every name. You'll kill us all to dodge the blame. This ain't conspiracy, it's confession. Hidden in plain sight for suppression. You laugh while the system bleeds, but the streets remember what you need. Truth, there's a cry. You just spare the time. When the lights come my head, your ass is mine. Locked room, VIP. No more secrets, no more canes. Dragged across your marble floor. Truth is kicking down your door. I said I'm young and believe the vow. Stars and stripes, I wear them now. Trained to fight and trained to lead. Wore the flag like it was all I need. I went to war, that was my goal. Buried brothers filling bullet holes. Did what I had to cause that was the cost. I came home proud but broken and lost. The other party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. They wrapped their lives in red, white, blue, but the blood on my hands was never for you. It was never for you. They said freedom, they said truth, but fed me hate since I was a youth. Republican dreams, conservative pride, just uniforms for the greed they hide. Where were they when the VA failed? When my friends came home and we all derailed? Where were they when we screamed in pain? Too busy chasing power and gain. All the party used me and threw me away. Now I see through the games they play. You bring support to wave your flags while you turn your backs on body bags. Don't turn your back on the fallen. You say that I betrayed you. I bled for this country. What did you ever do? You cheered for war. Then you ran from the wounded. I see who the traitors really are now! I gave my all, you gave me lies. Soldiers die while your empire thrives. Call me woke, call me lost. You never paid the fucking cost. And the party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. I fight again, not for your pride, but for every soul you left behind. The party used me and threw me away. But I won't be silent one more day. Justice ain't red, justice ain't blue. It's the truth, and it's coming for you! Marching down the street with your MAGA flags, being serpents' lies while you're waving that rag. Screaming freedom while you chain the weak. It makes me sick every time you speak. Beneath your cross, beyond your screen, you sold your soul for a fascist dream. Keyboard warrior that don't know pain. A cultist clown whose leader's insane. You are a king, not a constitution. You crave control, not a revolution. But you lick the boots, you're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease, you live in fear. Spend life on your knees, try to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You fake your fate, now you choke on the dead. Oh! The party of law and order, but you storm the hill. You back the blue except when you're out to kill. You wave a gun in your neighbor's face. Fake ass patriot, you're a fucking disgrace. History watch while you took your stand. We saw what you did all across this land. American patriots don't kneel to a king. You're a fucking sin sucking that cinnamon ring. You are a king, not a constitution. You claim control, not a revolution, but you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to hold the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. You traded your hood for a MAGA hat. The mark of the beast, you believe in that? You don't believe the words that you shout. You chant just to drown out the doubt. You were born to lose and you still started this game. The fire is coming and we are the flame. We're gonna tear it down, bury it 6 foot deep, and we'll never forget that you're a sheep. You are a king, not a constitution. You claim control, not a revolution, but you lick the boots. You're a rich man's pawn. You say you're free, but your freedom's gone. You're not with us. You're a fucking disease. You live in fear. Spend life on your knees, trying to own the limbs, but you just don't regret. You faked your fate, now you choke on the dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 26, 47. 1, 2. He wraps himself in red, white, blue, and lies. Makes empty oaths and louder baseless boasts. He stokes the fire of civil reason dies, and feeds the walls of mouthy loyal hoes. He plays the strong and bladders for it ghosts. The sirens feast and tear freedom for stealth. His throne is built on smoking shit posts. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Lady liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He scores people who bled for law and land, and praises the mob that stormed the sacred floor. A coward's grin, a scepter in his hand. He cheers as chaos shatters every door. His pledges rot the meaning nevermore. He trade the truth of treason, gain renown, and still he begs for power, blood, and war. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, Lady Liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand him, not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. He turns his back while tyrannies grow bold. He whispers secrets where the hawk should warn. And all for what? Some towers fake and gold. A name embalmed in scandal, loud and worn. No martyr here, just falling to be mourned. A fraud and silken jester in a gown. The gospel's house for shame we won't adorn. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Lady Liberty, let truth come down. Expose the rapists who tried to drag you down. Let history brand and not with any renown. He sold us out to buy a gilded crown. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down. Oh, Lady Liberty, we let you down. When truth is lost beneath a gilded name, a great parade as patriotic pride, the people's trust becomes a tarnished flame, extinguished where deception dares to strike. This man does not deserve our loyalty, because he thinks that he is royalty. America! Fuck yeah! King Breeze in 78, 76, so you can stop Our collective dicks are full of lies, built high on fear and spite. Commands with bluster, rage, and crude disdain. What once was all bent wrong to serve the right, and conscience cries in vain beneath the strain. This man does not deserve our loyalty, because he thinks that he is royalty. America! Fuck yeah! King Brains in 7876 so you can suck our collective dicks. No games! The motherfucker must go! No games! Straight to jail! No games! Oh, we can show! No games! Him the gates of hell! He mocks the weak, the weary, and the poor. Yet calls it strength to trample those below. The soul of service, darkened at its core. What seeds he sowed, we're reaping what we sow. This man does not deserve our loyalty, because he thinks that he is royalty. America! Fuck yeah! King Brave since 1776 so you can suck a collective dick. And time will move on, and truth frequents its stage. No crown can outlast the people's rightful right. And time will move on, and truth reclaims its stage. No crown can outlast the people's rightful rage. Baldo people!
And here we go. We are
Hello.
live with Stephanie Steiner. Apparently it is just me. So
Oh, hey,
my
it's
undivided
just me
attention.
too. So I guess it's just this one-on-one thing we got. I'd say it works pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know if you are familiar with Sons of Liberty. So if you are not, I just realized we got this loud, profane music playing in the background, and I have no idea.
I'll just stop you there. My favorite four-letter word starts with an F, even though I have to kind of keep that to myself on the campaign trail a little bit. So I'm not offended at all. I mean,
All right.
we are who we are, and we say what we say, right? That's what freedom of speech is supposed to be about, right? So
Yeah.
it don't bother me a bit.
So for those of you that are watching the stream that have no idea who I am, I'm Admin Tim, also known as Big Sarge. And tonight joining us, we have Stephanie Steiner, who is running for Congress in Iowa's 4th District. Oh, yeah, it's right there on the screen. Never mind. Yeah, 4th District.
Yep.
Stephanie, tell us about yourself. Why are you running? What got you interested in running? And all the good things that we should know.
All right, I'll see if I can do that. Well, I'm a married mother of 7. I live on a little acreage outside of Sutherland, Iowa. I'm a retired women's health nurse. And that's some of that in a nutshell. Why am I running for Congress? Well, back when Trump won the election, I kind of knew we were going to be in trouble. And I think, like a lot of people, I crossed my fingers and hoped it wouldn't be as bad as I thought it was going to be. But then he took office, and instead of it being as bad as I thought it was going to be, it was much worse than that. And so I got into activism, started going out and protesting, started organizing some protests. The last one that I guess, that I was at before I decided to run for Congress was when Trump showed up. He had a big, huge event down at the Iowa State Fairgrounds on July 3rd, back when he was pushing that big bullshit murder bill. And so he's down there protesting and came back. They passed that bill. And I went, gosh, I can't just sit by anymore. And why is that? So the last 6 years of my nursing career, I was a traveling nurse. And at the time, me and my younger children's father had divorced, but we still lived together. We still co-parented our children. I would go to a contract. I would be done with the contract. I'd come home, take a week or two, sometimes a month off. But in fall of 2018, when I was back, his physician got fired. He had severe COPD from working decades in hog confinement units. And so when his physician got fired, he lost access to the medications that he needed to be able to breathe on a day-to-day basis. So I started jumping through hoops, trying to get him access to his medications, because the doctor had been providing him samples for years because he didn't have insurance, and because he was a hardworking man, he didn't qualify for Medicaid. After 6 months of denials, which you have to get into the ACA, or American Care Act plans in the marketplace, we got all that done the first week of February of 2019, 6 months. And we thought we were in the clear. And then on February 13th of 2018, we kissed our kids. We put them on the bus to go to school. I apologize if I may shed a few tears. Believe it or not, I have empathy. And so we put them on the bus. I had been up all night the night before because my daughter, she had a baby on June 30th. And I had been up with my grandson all night. And Merlin said, just go lay down, take a nap. It's okay. Anything happens, I'm here. She can let me know. And so I did. And then less than 3 hours later, I, alongside my son-in-law, spent 18 minutes performing CPR because he sent a text. And it just said, let's go. And I knew what that meant. We were married for more than 10 years. And it was an awful experience. And as bad as that morning was, waiting the 18 minutes for EMS to arrive, because that's the way it is here in rural Iowa, where every bit of our fire departments, our ambulance teams, they're volunteers. So in the middle of the morning, at 10 o'clock in the morning, they're at their regular jobs. They got to stop. They got to get to their vehicles. They've got to get to their EMS vehicles or their fire trucks. And then they have to respond to wherever they're going to. And needless to say, 4 o'clock that day, I had to tell my children, even though their father was still technically alive, that he was never going to come home again. And 2 days later, we took him off life support. And on February 22nd of 2019, the day before our youngest daughter's 9th birthday, we laid him to rest outside of Holstein, Iowa. It was, and it still is, a very traumatic event that forever leaves a scar on our heart. And it didn't have to happen. And that's the part of this that hurts the worst. He had been stable on his meds for years. People need medical care to stay alive. They need medications to stay alive. Imagine, right? Who could have guessed that? And so now we fast forward to that big bullshit murder bill. And I mean, he died before that. And I know here in Iowa alone, 107,000 Iowans are slated to lose their Medicaid. And that's the actual numbers. That's not counting the number of Iowans that are going to lose their Medicaid from work requirements, which sound great on the surface, but really they're not. What they are is, well, if you forget or you miss your day that you've got to turn those work requirements in, you just got kicked off your Medicaid. Now, sure, you may be able to get it back after you reapply. And then they have, depending on the state, 4 to 6 weeks before they have to make that determination. And during that time, you don't have any insurance, right? 13,000 of those are going to be children. That doesn't count the people that are also going to lose their SNAP benefits. Children are going to end up going to bed hungry. Children that are now going to lose their summer school food programs, which may be the only meals that they get. Because here in Northwest Iowa, and I'm sure that it is just like that in many rural and urban areas all across the nation, people are struggling just to survive, to pay their bills. People are losing their homes, their jobs, their livelihoods, and their lives. And, you know, people that are sitting in Washington, a lot of them have been sitting there for a very long time. They've had many years, some of them many decades, to fix a lot of these issues. But, I think they're just looking out for themselves. They don't know what it's like to struggle to pay your electric bill or put food on your table, right? And so all of those things are why I'm running, because I'm just an everyday person. My experiences, they are unique to me and they are personal to me, but they happen to other people every single day. And we're just not being looked out for. We're just forgotten, like we don't matter. When you say, like Joni Ernst said, when she killed her career, right? Well, we're all going to die. Well, I guess we are, but I'd rather, some people might do that sooner rather than later. I'd like to be doing that later. I'd like for my kids to be doing that later. And I would like for other people to be able to do that later, right?
Right. So then it's safe to presume that before we get into your campaign and what you're running on, that your platform is probably going to include quite a bit of healthcare related, insurance related type.
I get asked that question, what are you running on? Well, I'm running on a lot of things. And yes, healthcare for all is one of those. I mean, we already have the infrastructure. Medicare and Medicaid give us the infrastructure. And almost every hospital and clinic is now connected thanks to computer charting, right? If we text the top 1%, which hold more wealth than the bottom 93% combined, we made them pay, say, I don't know, 25% before they get one tax break or loophole. And we would have more than enough money to pay for health care for all. In fact, it would save $167 billion per year. Imagine.
There's part of me that wants to make a zinger about, but then the billionaire oligarchs wouldn't get their cut of that money that's being saved, but trying to tone down levity a little bit.
That's kind of like that statement. Well, if you're one of those people and your income's this high, you really shouldn't get Social Security either. I mean, I can kind of see a point there. If you're like, I don't know, Elon Musk, do you really need that $2,400? $2,400 a month from Social Security. Do you really need that? Or, could you be able to say, you know what? I'm going to let that go to people who need it. I mean, imagine, there's a good idea, right? Save some money that way.
Yeah. So what else are you running for with regards to?
Okay. Well, I'll try to do it in a short little thing. So we got healthcare. We talked about that. So we got education. I believe in a fully funded K through 12 education. I also believe in putting trade and vocational schools in high school, because not every kid wants to go to college, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't have some kind of training to leave high school with and be able to go out in the world and potentially, take care of themselves. Along with that, I'm also for completely forgiving all student loan debt, because I believe free higher education is how we invest in our future. It's how we invest in our children. That's how we improve, we elevate people out of poverty through education.
Yeah.
I believe in sensible immigration reform. That's a big hot hot button topic with a lot of people. And instead of paying $50 and $60,000 sign-on bonuses for all these extra ICE agents, how about we offer an increase in the number of immigration judges with immigration law experience to process through all of the asylum claims so people get their constitutional day in court and they aren't sitting living in limbo wondering, do I get to stay? Do I have to go? And if we did that, got through the backlog, gave people a sensible pathway to citizenship that didn't cost an arm and a leg and didn't require you to have either a law degree or, again, pay an arm and a leg for lawyers to get through, then people would come across the border the right way. That would want to come across the border the other way are people that we probably wouldn't let in. And then you could let Custom and Border Patrol do their job there. I'm going to be terrorizing people that are, going to their construction job and their Home Depot parking lot. We also don't need to be attacking people just because of the color of their skin. Let's see, we've got civil rights violations left and right. There are multiple members of my own children who are part of the LGBTQ plus community. And I have personally watched them struggle, be persecuted. They're in fear. They're afraid. And that this goes into that other hot topic button, the A word, right? Which has to do with women's rights. And here's the truth on all of that. I don't care if you're transitioning, and I don't care if you're a woman who needs some reproductive services. I also don't care if you're a 75-year-old man with colon cancer or a 2-year-old child with leukemia. You have a right to medical privacy. For a long time, this was Roe v. Wade, which a lot of people seem to forget was actually about privacy, which every American should have between themselves and their care teams. Period. We don't need to talk about all of the other things. Plain and simple, as an American, it should be codified in our Constitution that you have not only the same civil rights as everybody, but a right to privacy between you and your medical care team and the doctors who spend a very, very long time in college and then having to pass boards and continue on with continuing education courses, most of which are quite intelligent about their jobs, and they should be let alone to do their jobs. And it's not my business. It's not your business. It's definitely not the federal government's business, the state government's business, your community, your church, somebody else's religion, another nation. Doesn't matter. You have a right to medical privacy, period. So yeah, then we've got the genocide or complicity, and we're being complicit in the genocide occurring against the Palestinian people in Gaza, and our absolute abject failure to stand with Ukraine, who has been invaded by oligarchies out of Russia. So we also have that issue. I've had people come to me and say, well, we need to worry about us and stop spending all this money overseas. And what I tell people to that is what you're failing to think about or realize is when these regions become unstable, which they will, then what you're actually saying is we're just going to let whoever, I could be ISIS, could be Taliban, could be another extremist group, take hold there. And then that one creates issues with our own our own national security, as well as threats to our industries, which may be overseas. There's so very many things. And I don't want to sit here and say, oh, I know it all, because I don't. But here's what I'll say. I don't know it all, but there's a lot of really smart people out there. And if people are willing to say, well, I don't know, and then listen to the right people, we can do a lot of great things.
Pop quiz.
All
Where
right.
do you stand on impeachment?
Well, if I get elected, one of the first things that I would do is file articles of impeachment. Gosh, where do I start? I think that we right now have a bunch of spineless cowards in the GOP sitting in Washington, because they are failing to hold this president, his administration accountable for repeated violations of our Constitution. I mean, just trashing our democracy left and right. I absolutely support, would vote for, and it would be happy to introduce articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. And I think we should also hold every member of his cabinet, his administration, and the people sitting in Congress, which have allowed this to go on, they should all be held accountable too.
Does that include the Supreme Court?
Oh boy, yeah. You know, I think for a long time, here's something somebody asked me the other day about the Supreme Court. So what do you think about lifetime appointments? And, up until here recent, I would have said, well, it's really beneficial to have Supreme Court justices that have years, decades of experience overseeing all kinds of different cases, and to be able to bring that into the Supreme Court and work with the other Supreme Court justices and make those decisions. But as of recent, I no longer feel that way. I think we need to have term limits, not just on representatives and senators in Congress and the president, but also in the Supreme Court justice. Because for too long now, members of this Supreme Court have been at times living some pretty lavish lifestyles based on gifts from outside sources. And it would now appear that the corruption goes beyond, of course, the White House. It has infected our executive branch. It has infected Congress, and it has infected Supreme Court justices. And I'm not sure the route to go about that, but I think what they've done is, in my personal opinion, is treasonous. They have kicked the can down the road on certain issues, and then other issues, what appears for, I think, most people, just blatant disregard for our Constitution and what it ultimately does to our democracy.
Sorry, I'm trying to monitor my chat comments. It's just me. Usually we have a couple more people in here.
You got just you there, and you're talking to me, and you're like, let's see who's got a question. Where do we go from there? Don't worry about it.
No.
I had 7 kids.
So the past couple of days, we've been kind of hitting pretty hard on Nick Fuentes and the Groyper Army. It's this little bunch of bootlicking beta cucks, and
right.
They've been kind of modestly active in some of the comment sections. So,
well, yeah,
sure
in light of the current issues, shall we say, I could see that they have really been coming out quite hard and heavy. I guess I want to say this. I want to make a differentiation here. Okay. To me, you have these extreme right-wing MAGA lunatics. Okay. You have conservative Republicans, and you got liberal Republicans, but a Republican you can at least have a conversation with and, reach across the aisle, come to a meeting of the minds. I wouldn't say they're extremists. They're not crazy. They just have their ideas, and no different than your far left, right? But with that being said, I you've got a bunch of people out there drinking the Kool-Aid. They're members, in my opinion, of a cult. They don't want to admit that because they don't even realize it yet. They are currently screaming about free speech rights until a person exerts their free speech rights that they disagree with. And so then, they go get active and try to get people's social media, get them in Facebook jail or get them banned permanently or get them fired from their jobs, all because they say things that I don't think are extreme. They're just personal opinions, right? People are entitled to those. But like you say, certain people just don't agree with that.
What, in your opinion, at least in your district, do you think are the top 3 issues that your constituents, whether they're Republican or Democrat or some other brand
Right.
of flavor, what do you think
Well,
those 3 issues might be facing Iowans in 4th District?
I think our number one issue is going to be our economy. We've for quite a while. I think our economy, like a lot of places here in the nation, we have a failing economy. I think right now our economy is ranked like 48 in the nation. So we have that. A lot of our businesses have closed, so we've seen a lot of job layoffs. We are of course, rural farming community, and we're not very diversified. So we have corn and soybeans, and due to the trade wars and our foreign relations at the moment, our farmers have been hit really, really hard. So I think we've got an economy is probably the number one. Number two, I would say, is in essence some conservation or pollution issues. Iowa has the second highest cancer rates in the nation, and we are the only state where cancer rates are still rising. So we have that, and then I would say, boy, education and healthcare, I think, are right there tied with each other. Both of those are very important, but it kind of depends which area of Iowa you're talking about. Because here in Northwest Iowa, most of the very far northwest part is very rural farming communities. But we have these pockets of urban areas. So we have Ames, we have University. You've got Council Bluffs, which is the Omaha side, or the Iowa side of Omaha. And then you have Sioux City. So we've got some very densely populated hotspots. And so 1 and 2, definitely economy, and number 2 are really conservation, pollution, cancer rates, that kind of thing. And I think in the larger communities, it's education, only because if you're in one of those larger communities right now, you have access to at least 1, if not 3 or 4 larger hospitals, as well as multiple clinics. Unlike if you get into rural Iowa. So for me, where I live, I've got to travel about 35 minutes to get to my closest hospital. I've got to travel 10 to 20 minutes to get to my closest doctor's office. So those are issues that, urban parts of the 4th District don't have. So urban, I would say, number 3 is education. And that's because a lot of our public school funding has been cut this year. When our state legislature finally did their budget, right, they increased our K through 12 education budget. I think it was 91 million up to 341 million. But then they slated 62% of that budget to go to private schools, which only account for 7.8% of all K through 12 enrollments. So if you think about that for a minute and what that means to public school districts in these urban areas, right? They're struggling with this. It is a big issue for us here in rural Iowa as well, but we have a much larger healthcare issue. So I guess hopefully that answers your question. We're kind of a unique district because we're the largest by land area, but we have some very stark difference in our towns and our counties.
And this is a traditionally heavily Republican area, right?
It is.
What do
Yep.
they call him? Iowa Nazi Steve King or something like that.
Oh yeah, Steve King.
Steve King.
Yep. So
Yeah.
the
He was defeated.
Yep, by Randy Feenstra. So that's Randy Feenstra has decided to throw his hat in the ring to run for governor. So Kim Reynolds has opted to not run. So Feenstra is going to be running for her seat. So that left this seat open. Feenstra defeated Steve King when Steve King was an incumbent. And so, yeah, we are traditionally at the reddest district in the state of Iowa, 2-1. So there's 2 Republicans for every 1 Democrat. But with that being said, Josh Turek, who is one of the candidates running for Senate for Joni Ernst's seat, since she has decided not to run. So he actually was right. I know everybody has to laugh about it. That's what she did. Political suicide right there with what she said. She killed her. She killed her political career with that. But Josh Turek, he won Carter Lake and Council Bluffs, which is the reddest legislative district in the entire state of Iowa. Now, Josh Turek is a Democrat. He took that district. Here recently, we've had Caitlin Dray. She ran for, was a special election, and second reddest district. I mean, we're talking, outside of Sioux City, campaigned hard. I did sent a lot of postcards and things like that for her campaign. And she just won for a state legislative seat. So here in the reddest district in Iowa, we are seeing, red flip to blue. And I think it's because people were already struggling when Donald Trump, right? When the election happened in November, unfortunately, people believed the lies. Right. So our economy was already failing. People were already struggling. And when you have that, right, when you have people feeling that way, and somebody comes in and says, hey, look at me. I'm this charismatic guy. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to fix this for you. I'm going to fix it all for you. Everything you want, you vote for me, and I'm going to give it to you. And desperate times calls for desperate measures, and people were desperate. And Trump was where they turned that desperation to. Now, since he's been in office, and a lot of these people that backed him, and they now realize, like, this is not what we voted for. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that, like, this is not what we voted for. And along with that, they're looking at the current sitting members in the House of Representatives and our senators and going, and these guys have just let an out of control administration continue to be out of control. They have no interest in reining that in, knowing it's going to hurt us. And that's it. Short of Tom Tillis, right? And I give credit where credit's due. I watched a lot of the debate. I watched a lot of the voting of that bill. And I have to give credit to Tom Tillis when he says, I cannot come in here and vote for this bill and then go back to my constituents in North Carolina and tell them I lied to them. Right? It's unfortunate then he said, and I'm just not going to run for reelection because he knew Elon Musk, Trump, one or the other or both were going to primary him. But he did the right thing, right? And so I want to give credit where credit's due. Now, short of that, very few of these other ones have done that. Oh, it's okay. It's just Donald being Donald. It'll be okay. And then it's just one bad action after the other. And I think people are now fed up. I mean, people I talk to, we feel like we've already lived a lifetime. And we're like 7 months in, and it feels like a lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Down in my soul.
Right?
Hurts a little too.
It does. It does. And that's
My
it.
beard's
And
getting gray from this.
Right? Yeah. And I think that's it. So, I know it's a really red district. I know that there's 2-1, but the truth of it is, I think there's, I know there's a lot of people, a lot of Republicans that have silently quit. Here recently, there used to be a huge sign. You come off Interstate 35 and it's onto 20. And when you get off and you come under the overpass, right there in a farmer's field, this huge sign. And all the way since Trump's first administration, this farmer had this huge sign with Trump and, all of that on it. And here recently, it's been there since 2015. And now you go by recently and it's gone. It has George Bush up there, which probably who was on it originally when he stuck, Donald Trump's up there. But that's it. A lot of the farmers last year, the last few years, drive by, they cut their silage, and they have the plastic, right? So there's material that they have to wrap the silage in because they use it to feed animals later on. And they would go out there and spray paint, Trump 2024 on it, or this is what I voted for, and it's gone. Like you have to drive for a while now before you start to see that. And I think it's because a lot of them realize that he's not doing what they voted him there to do. He's doing things they don't agree with, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot of these senators and representatives that are coming up in 2026. It's definitely going to hurt them if we can have free and fair elections, which I'm still very concerned if that's even going to happen, right?
You and me both. It's like you're picking up what we're putting down and vice versa. So you would, it seems like you have a pretty good nurse
understanding
joke, finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Now have you always been kind of politically minded, or you just kind of got thrust into this based on circumstances and the way things have gone?
It really was based on circumstance. I was the most non-political person you would ever met. And I'm going to be honest about something. I feel a little guilty about that now. Right. For most of my life, most of my adult life, I mean, I've done my due diligence, when it's time to vote for the president, when it's that election, I've always shown up. I've always voted. I've been a registered voter since I was 18. I registered at the age of 18 as a Republican. Don't shoot me now. That was back when I was a real big pro-life person. Then I met a few people, had a few conversations, and realized, God, I'm really an asshole. And so then I went, I don't like that. So then I registered as an independent. So I've been a registered independent most of my life. I didn't care about caucuses and primaries and any of that. So I'm learning a lot of this as I go. Right. It's just not been, I'm not politically minded, but what I am is an advocate. That is something that has been near and dear to my heart my whole life. been a mother since I was 15 years old. I've been a nurse since I was 24. I work, like I said, women's health, mostly labor and delivery, and sometimes NICU. And so I care about people, and I think that's where this comes from. Is, like I said, that bullshit murder bill. I care about people. If I don't know them, I don't need to know them to know what's about to happen to them, and to know that they need somebody that understands it, that's not going to go sit up in that ivory tower in Washington and dole out what I think they should have. Like, a soda if you're receiving SNAP benefits. No, kind of like that. People making decisions based on their thought processes instead of based on the voters that put them in that seat. And I just have this strong feeling that we need people in Washington that are just everyday people, right? Our government should be of the people, by the people, of the people, for the people, by the people. And when you have people that are very wealthy, they're not of everyday people. Everyday people are not wealthy. So to answer that, no, I haven't been political. I feel like I should have been a little more. I should have done my due diligence as an American citizen to watch and keep an eye on what was going on. I know through the years, I've had moments where I've been like, like, what was it? When the NSA was created back all the way back, what was that, Bush, right? All of a sudden after the World Trade Center, and then we find out, well, yeah, we're listening to all your cell phone stuff, we're watching, but we're not going to use it unless it's, because it's for terrorist groups only. And it's like, but that's kind of spying on people, which I'm pretty sure a constitution says you're not supposed to do. And in those moments, instead of saying something and getting involved, I just went, well, I'll trust them to do the right thing with my information. Boy, I couldn't have been more wrong.
I used to work for the NSA. So there's this thing called the USIDS, the United States Signals Intelligence Directives, and they govern what can and can't be collected. And one of the big no-no areas was collecting on our own citizens. And
Right.
I was still working for the NSA when 9/11 happened. The Patriot Act came out and basically said, USID's bad, Patriot Act good.
Right.
And so there was a big shift in our culture as well, and a lot of people who were working there or who were like me, military, who were attached to the NSA, assigned to the NSA, were like, what happened to the USIDs? So
Right. And so and then you've got Donald Trump in there, who has decided just to pilfer all of our personal data that we as citizens were guaranteed would not be shared unless absolutely necessary, wouldn't be used unless it was for the specific reasons that it was given. And I always had a feeling this day would come, even though it's, oh, no, we're not going to do that. No. Well, we can't do that. Well, you're right. You should be doing it, but here we are. Surprise.
So now, are you already officially on the ballot for the primary, or you have
No.
to?
So here in Iowa, the way that works, every state does their thing. So if you want to be on the ballot, you have to go out and collect petition signatures. So for U.S. House of Representatives, it's 1,750 signatures, and you have to collect 50 of those signatures from one half of the counties that you're going to represent. So what that equates for me is collect 50 signatures from 18 counties. And then I have to have a total of 1,750 signatures out of the approximate 800,000 people that are in this district. And then we take that and we have to file it with our notice of candidacy to the Secretary of the State of Iowa. And then they do their part, which is they go through and make sure that only eligible voters are, or ones that signed the petitions. And then so long as you've collected the appropriate number of signatures and appropriately filled out your statement of candidacy, then you get put on the ballot. And then for us, our primary election will be June 2nd of 2026. And right now there's me and two others running on the Democrat ticket. And I think a fifth person just jumped in on the Republican side. Here in Iowa, we pretty much only have a two-party system. You can run as an independent, but you really don't get the exposure. Our system is just set up for two parties, which I think is absolutely crazy. Personally, I really feel like if you want to work in a public service sector, which is what this is, then it shouldn't matter if you're red, if you're blue, it should matter about, can you go out and work to be a representative, an unbiased representative of your entire district? Because I'm running on a Democratic ticket. Okay, so I win the primary and then I go into the general election and I win that. And like I said, 2-1. So if we, that's not talking about the independents there, but, so there would be a huge group of my constituents that are Republican that then have to follow what they see as the enemy of the other side. And so I think it's a little crazy how we've set our system up. I know way back when it made it easier, but in today's digital world and today's world where, everything happens in an instant, I just don't understand why we're kind of going through these Stone Age processes to do these things.
So we've got to get you a fair amount of signatures, right?
Yep.
You need
I
like
think
50 in 18 different counties.
Yep. I've actually already completed that part. For me right now, I'm just working on collecting the total 1,750. I'm up to about 400 right now. It's a lot of driving. It's a lot of, getting out and going around. Cause like I said, the majority of the fourth district is very sparsely populated. A lot of crop ground. I mean, certain farmers, we're talking, there may be entire section. I say an entire section where our, like I live out on acreage. We have 4 miles, so 4 square, be with it, 4 square miles. So 1 mile by 1 mile by 1 mile by 1 mile. So that's a section. And you may have a farmer that owns 6 of those surrounding his property, and it's just all crop ground. And then you have the next one, and you'll have to drive 30 miles in between towns. So we are very sparsely populated. So it's a lot of drive to this town, go out, knock on doors, and stuff. It's a task, to say the least.
And it's just the signatures, right? You don't have to pay like any money.
Nope. Our system, you don't have to pay any money. It's nothing like that. It's just the petition signatures. Basically, by February 23rd to March 13th, that's when our paperwork has to be filed. And then, like I said, it's just the petition signatures. It's a 1-page statement of candidacy that essentially says on July 2nd, you agree that you're going to be a registered Democrat and that you have collected those signatures. And that's it.
I feel like the rest of the country should adopt that. instead of requiring people to pay money. But I get why some places, like if you can't get those signatures, you can always pay money, I guess, which
Wow. Yeah, you can, you can always write somebody's name in on the ballot, but yeah, you don't, if you don't run on a Republican ticket or a Democrat ticket, you don't get on the ballot until November. And it's the exposure, I guess you could say, is the big difference. So you got, of course, the Iowa Democratic Party, and we do a lot of debates here. It's difficult to explain, even though it's pretty simple. Essentially, Democrats do a lot of work to expose, give exposure to the people that are running on Democratic ticket. The Republican side does the same thing. If you're an independent, though, you really are shut out of all of those things, if that makes sense. So if you've got, like for us, we've got 3 Democrats. If you're running on that ticket, you're going to have a lot of debates offered to you. You're going to get a lot of different exposure times, interviews, things like that. If you're an independent, you're not going to be offered those things. So any exposure that you have for your campaign is all on your own dime, and it's all on your own time. And so especially here, like I said, in the 4th district, where you have these huge gaps in areas, I'm not going to say makes it impossible, but look at the last time an independent got anywhere close to winning one of these seats here in the 4th district. And I guess that would be the best way I could explain that. But yeah, it's nice. It doesn't cost any money.
Yeah, that makes it mildly attainable for people that aren't, swimming in money, because a lot of people
Right.
don't have, say,
No,
$5,000 or whatever to just
yeah.
spend on a campaign. Like, it's like I'm reminded of Cat Williams when he was doing his skit about Michael Jackson. He's like, "Don't you climb trees?" "No, motherfucker, we got bills and shit." That's very niche if you're not a fan of Cat Williams comedy.
Yeah, no.
And at this point, he's
Yeah,
probably
no.
about 20 years old too. So
Yeah, I was a George Carlin fan myself. I still to
I
this
feel like if
day.
you like comedy and you're not a George Carlin fan, you need to just go be unfunny somewhere.
Exactly. It was just common sense, George Carlin just told it like it was. A lot of people may not have liked it, but it didn't make it any less the truth.
Mm-hmm. How much support do you still need for your campaign? Like, you need volunteers, staffers, things like that.
Well, I'll say it like this. I'm always looking for good volunteers because we need people to knock on doors because we're still collecting those signatures. We're going to be doing, of course, get out the vote events where it's, getting out, making sure that people are registered to vote, because if you didn't vote in the, I think it's presidential election here in Iowa, they kick you off the voter rolls. A lot of people are gonna haven't realized that this happens, right? So if you don't vote, you get kicked off the voter rolls. Now you have to be registered by a certain date, or you can't register, or you can't vote in that election, right? So say you didn't vote in the last election. June 2nd rolls around and you go to vote for me. And you go in, you go to vote, and they say, well, we don't have your name here. They said, well, I voted, 2 years ago. Oh, that's why. Yeah, you're not registered to vote, so you can't vote in this election. And that happens. So we do a lot of get out the vote events to make sure that people know before that deadline comes around that, they need to check, and we help them get registered to vote. So we have that. We also just, go out knocking on doors, talking to people about the campaign. So here's all I can say. Always looking for voters. even though I would love to say that it's free, of course, nothing in life is free. There's always needs for, of course, it costs gas to go town to town. It costs money for literature. It costs money to maintain, websites, to buy yard signs, to maintain phone numbers for campaign offices. So campaign is always welcoming contributions. 100% of my contributions go, of course, to my campaign. I would love to have volunteers. So if anybody is interested, they of course can reach out to me at steinerforiowa.com. There's a form on there. They can sign up to volunteer. They can, digital creators. So there's that. Even if you don't live in the district, there's, stuff people from anywhere across the US could do. Again, contributions, as long as you live in the US, you can contribute to the campaign. So yeah, I guess that's it in a nutshell.
I feel like we have a fair amount of people who are part of Sons of Liberty, whether it's people that are following on social media or who are on our Discord server, that are in the Midwest in Iowa. So we'll see, can we shuffle some of them your way? Is there
Yep.
You mentioned a website.
Yep.
Is there a good email address where they can just email, or is it like a form on the website?
Well, there's a volunteer form on the website, so steinerforiowa.com. They can also reach out directly to me at stephanie.steiner.2026@gmail.com.
Stephanie.steiner.2026
Yep, at gmail.com.
at gmail.com. I'm taking notes. So I'm gonna go into the little Iowa section on Discord and the Midwest section on Discord and raise a little hell.
There you go. I
You can
greatly
get you
appreciate it.
some.
We can raise some hell
Yeah,
together. How about that?
I like raising hell.
I do too. My dad's, damn it, Stephanie, you're just hell on wheels. I know. What can I say?
How do you feel about how do you feel about booze?
booze. Had to give up my drinking days. I, drink a little too much, and next thing I know, I'm waking up somewhere. Don't know how I got there, and I'm like, I have a little drinking problem. So I gave up booze a few years ago. Caffeine and nicotine. That's about my speed.
Yeah, I feel those days as a ex-Army NCO. The booze, the caffeine, the nicotine.
Yeah, without it, it's like, what am I doing with my life?
So what's the next big milestone? You're good to go, right? As far as like getting in there, or you still need signatures?
Need signatures, need campaign contributions to keep getting me from town to town. I know, and it's probably not going to be until after the first of the year. And that's when we're going to start doing debates. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Like I said, I welcome any volunteers. I got a few people here and there sporadically that help. Most of what you see is me and my one-man army. But I've got a couple of other people that I absolutely forever grateful for. When they have the time, they're able to help step in, do photography and that kind of stuff. So if I had to say, what do I need? Volunteers to help with events that I've got coming up, which I've got quite a few, and we're still scheduling those. And they're kind of meet and greet, town hall, things that, people that are currently sitting senators and representatives in this district for some reason don't want to hold a town hall. So I'm going to go hold town halls. So if anybody wants to volunteer to help with some of those, that would be great. Yeah.
Town halls are kind of a big deal for a lot of people on both the left and the right.
Yeah. I think it's,
With
for me, that's an important thing. Even if somebody wants to come yell at me, I respect it in the sense that they're obviously angry about something and they generally just want somebody to hear them, just to genuinely listen and be like, I hear you. I may not have the answer, but I hear you. I want to listen to your idea, and then let's go see what we can do about it. But it seems like everybody here, none of the current federal or current federal legislators, senators, or representatives are going to hold town halls. They claim they are, but then as soon as it goes up, all here recently, I think it was which one was it? I think it was Chuck Grassley, charged by, old man Grassley, who says he goes to all 99 counties every year. So here recently, it got put up that he was holding a town hall. No more than it went up, people, of course, immediately went there because doesn't matter which senator you are or which representative, if you hold a public town hall, you're going to get a lot of people to show up. It's not going to be people that they like, though, right? Where it's people that want to know why did you vote to kick my handicapped child off their Medicaid? Why did you vote to take away my SNAP benefits when I'm already working 3 jobs and I still can't get by? Why did you vote for that? Why did you vote so that I have to pay more taxes while they don't have to pay any? So he goes, he posts up a town hall. Immediately then it gets turned to a private, and now they've started to charge people if you want to go in and talk to them. I think usually it's about $40 a ticket. People can't afford to pay their bills. They sure don't have $40 to go talk to a state elected representative, right? Who's supposed to be available. These people won't answer their phone. They won't answer their emails. They won't show up in public, right? So if they won't show up, I'm going to. And so that's what I'm doing.
Now, you have a website. Do you have
Yes.
social media like Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, etc.?
Yep, I do. Mostly, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Usually, I think most of my tag names. Yeah, I'm not somebody who usually uses social media, so my kids have had to help me along. Kind of a little bit older, even though I may not look like it. I know this young, beautiful face, but. So my kids, Stephanie.Steiner.2026 is my handle on those. Technically, I also have YouTube and Blue Sky and Snapchat. Right now, I don't have enough volunteers to keep track of all of that. So I generally, I just stick to my Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And I manage a Facebook page as well through my profile. So, and all of those are public. Anybody can go on those and reach me through those websites if they want to, or look at my content that I have up. Give me pointers if they like, don't wear red because it just, you shouldn't wear red, right? People aren't going to want to look at your stuff. Hey, I appreciate that
Don't wear
comment.
white after Labor Day or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think it was, how do they say that? Well, I think you know why they say don't wear red. I got told, don't wear red. It makes you look like you're MAGA. That's actually what the comment was.
Fair.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I guess.
if you don't have it, something that I would recommend is there's a platform or a website. It's called Linktree. And you basically create your own handle on it, and then you can list all of your socials. So,
Okay.
for example, Sons of Liberty has one, and you can list everything. Like you can list YouTube, TikTok. You can create custom websites. So if you've got like a custom website that you have,
Right.
for example, steinerforiowa.com, you can include that on your link tree, as
Okay.
well as like like a contact me button. So all of
Okay.
your socials that you have, you can list them on Linktree.
Okay.
And then there are websites like Hootsuite and all these other places. The one that I use is called Only Social,
Okay.
and it links. Let me see. Let me pull it up because I don't know the official number that I have. On Only Social, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 different sites
Well,
listed, and there are a couple of others that I'm not going to list because I don't use Twitter. So we've got Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Threads, YouTube, TikTok, and Reddit.
okay.
Might be forgetting one. Basically, it's a content site where you can go on there and you can choose which ones you want to use.
Right.
So, for example, if I'm gonna post a meme, I'm gonna click the buttons for Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Threads, and Facebook, and then
So you
I
can
have to
create a
use the
post and it'll share it to all of them at one time. So you don't have to do it one by one, essentially. Is that what you're
yes,
saying? Awesome.
yeah.
Okay.
Now the trick is, depending on what you have to say, you're gonna have to figure out a way to post it. So Instagram you can't do without pictures. So pretty
Right.
much, if you want to try to get all of them, have a picture. And then because
Okay.
you have Blue Sky included, you have a maximum character limit of about 300 characters.
Right.
So if you're doing short form stuff, you can do that. If you've got like a long, let's say you've got Substack and you post a Substack article, you can link the
Right.
Substack article in your post and say, like the first couple of lines, like, I wrote this post on Substack. I'm going to write about Charlie Kirk assassination or whatever, and then read it now. And post the link. So those are my 2 tips for you to help
Okay.
you boost your social media presence and uh, make it a little easier to manage. Now you can also do the same thing with video. So with video, you can upload something depending on what you're doing. Like if you're going to try to upload it to all the sites, it has to be under 60 seconds because Blue Sky you can't have it over 60 seconds. But if you have something that's a little bit longer than that, you can share it to, say, YouTube and TikTok straight
Okay.
from Only Social. And you have to
Okay.
link all of them, so you need to know your account names and passwords and stuff like that, which for me was problematic.
Are you like me that you make them and then you're like, shit, what was that again? Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
but
no, that's the
so
wrong
like I
password.
I could go into Google and look up the accounts and whatnot and see if it remembered it, and you know
Yeah. Google saved my ass more than once, let me tell you.
yeah, it's got a lot of faults with that secure password, or you get like a secure password protection stuff like passkey or passbolt, whatever, or like
Right.
LastPass, stuff like that, to save all your stuff.
Okay.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
since
I
it's
appreciate
just
that.
me, I've basically run through an entire hour's worth of stuff, and I actually do have a 9 o'clock thing that I have to get ready for with the
Okay.
Removal Coalition. So I
Yes, I've
do
been
want to say
following
thank
you
you
on
so
that.
much for being thank you so much for being on the live stream. It was
Not a
my
problem.
privilege to be able to share you to a wider audience, and you've got my email, so you can
I do.
always uh, reach out. And I'm actually so I've been presenting candidates that we've had on our live stream and passing them up to the Removal Coalition. So I'm going to see if we can get you on some other
I would love
live
that.
streams and things like that, and get you
I
some
I
wider
I
exposure
seen
and
you
get some
guys
content.
storming the Capitol building. Well, I shouldn't say storming the Capitol building. That would insinuate
Yeah,
January 6th. But
we gotta be
I
careful with the
watched you
phrases.
guys. I'm like, getting kicked out of Marjorie Taylor Greene. God, I can't stand that woman.
Question for you, since I
Yeah.
like to ask this one of candidates. When you get elected, not if, but when you get elected to Congress, in a perfect world, let's say you get to choose to sit on a committee, which one would you be most interested on sitting on?
Oh boy, I do like the House Oversight Committee. Just saying.
I mean, that's like the king daddy of
Um,
them all, I think.
boy. Mm, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That is a very good question. Hmm. I'm not sure. That's about the only
All
thing I
right.
can say on this. I'm not sure. That's actually a good one. I guess I've never gotten far enough in that to even think about that question. So you know what?
Well, you
I'm
got
gonna
a
look at it
year.
and I'm gonna send you an email and tell you.
All right. Well, yeah, stay in touch because I definitely want to follow up with you
Yes.
before the primary. I want to circle back with all of the political candidates that we've had on and find out what we can do to help them with their campaigns and whatnot. And I will definitely see, can we get you on in front of other audiences elsewhere.
I appreciate that. And it's been an honor to be on your program. I thank you for all that you're doing and all the other groups that you're working with. Because it's really going to take us all. So,
Well, thank you for stepping up and running to represent the people.
all right. Well, you know where I'm at if you need me, and I'll see you guys later.
All right. Thank you
Bye
again,
bye.
Stephanie.
You're
That's gonna be
welcome.
our
I'll see you.
time.
I sometimes I run a little late. My ADHD can get the better of me, but you know what? I was on time today, so
Yeah,
one
you
of them
were.
times I'll
And
pat
you sat
myself
through the
today.
music like a trooper. Like
I
I get a
did. I'm like,
notification when somebody pops in and I was like, "Oh, she's early." And there's this song in the background. It's like, "You motherfuckers."
I just fucking sat there. I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. I'm like, all right.
Well, it's on Spotify. It sounds a lot better on Spotify and Apple because when it's coming through the stream, it's there's a lot of compression. So
Yeah, you lose a
goes
lot of the
through
music
there.
in the background and you hear more of the voice, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I like the words of the song. Let me put it to you that way. I mean, I don't know about the screaming part, but I'm all about the words of it. I'm like, I feel that deep in my soul.
Right on. All
All
right,
right. We'll
Stephanie,
see you
thanks
guys
so much
later.
for being with us. 2 claps and a Rick. Woo!
Woo!
Everybody stay frosty.